Please help me in honor of all of American fallen officers with a moment of silence.
To repeat, that was the DNC last night. A call for a moment of silence for murdered police officers, and Black Lives Matter protesters started shouting, as you heard. Detective Steve Loomis is with us, Cleveland Police Department. You've been with us before, Steve. I know you're pretty disgusted about this, aren't you?
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. The Black Lives Matter movement, I'd like to know who says Black lives don't matter. You know, somebody needs to point to one person that says Black lives don't matter. It's just a ridiculous narrative. It's based on lies. It's based on false narratives. It's giving credence
well, you know,
by the President of the United States.
Steve, it's really a terrible thing that happened last night. Hours later, another police officer was shot and killed, this time in San Diego. I mean, there is a climate of anti-police feeling here, which really has to stop. But I don't see it stopping if things like that happen, as they did last night at the DNC.
Yeah, well, every time the President of the United States or the DNC people or Hillary or anybody else gives credibility to the Black Lives Matter group, it's not going to stop. That's a divisive organization. Let's make no mistake, when they were here in Cleveland, they were applauding the murders of the police officers in Dallas. They were applauding the murders of the police officers in Baton Rouge. They are not a peaceful group. Their agenda is very clear, and it's to promote lawlessness in this country, and the murder and to hurt police officers.
Well, Steve, the last time you were on this program was, I think, during the Republican convention in Cleveland. You came on the show and you said that President Obama has blood on his hands. You want to take that back or rephrase it or restate it. Where do you want to go with this?
I'll restate it. You know, the President of the United States is supposed to be bringing people together, not dividing us horribly apart, and blaming law enforcement across this country for the decades and generations of social decay in neighborhoods. And this is not a black or white issue. This is a social economic issue as far as the police are concerned. You know,
Steve, I'm going to interrupt because I think it's become a political issue. I think that the relationship between people and the police departments has become politicized. Now, we had video from the other day where people leaving a Donald Trump rally were shaking hands with police officers and saying, look, thanks very much for being here and keeping us safe. Last night, we had this disrespect for fallen police officers from the Democrats. Now, it seems to me that it's become politicized, and that's not good, is it?
No, that just shows what these politicians are made of. You know, I understand a grieving mother. I completely, my heart goes out that there's not a police officer out here that ever wants to use deadly force in any situation, and you have to believe that. We all have kids. We all have families. I understand a grieving parent, but there are reasons that deadly force are used, and we see across this country police officers getting exonerated, being overcharged, as we saw in Baltimore. I mean, that prosecutor in Baltimore, she should be criminally charged, you know, and disbarred at a minimum because of the politics of it. Politics does not belong in the criminal justice system. Lady Justice is blind. Okay. And she's blind for a reason. Steve,
we want to let you know that we grieve for all those fallen officers, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir.
I want to get more on the shooting last night. San Diego, one officer dead. What do we got here, Ash?
Yeah, these two officers belong to a gang suppression unit. It all began about 11 o'clock last night.
By the way, I want to interrupt because the person on that gurney was the suspect.
Yes.
Not a police officer. That's the suspect, who is unnamed at this point.
He is expected to live. They are searching for perhaps more suspects in this case, but essentially they stopped the car. A gun battle quickly ensued after they pulled over this vehicle. Both officers were hit. One unfortunately died, leaving behind a wife and two young children. The other underwent surgery. We understand he will survive. But again, this was just came under attack just for pulling over a car.
33 police officers killed in the line of duty this year.
That's up
significant.
About 78%, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't know the
Shooting
percentage.
deaths.
It's a significant gain.
Yes.
And it's a tragedy. It's an outrage, actually.